Daniel Kocic still hasn't set a time, currently in T14 as the clock ticks down with 48 minutes and 27 seconds left in this practice session.
Tim Weller, yet to post a time, is navigating T2 with just under 48 minutes remaining in this session. Still a lot of time to find that rhythm.
Greg Sabo is another driver still searching for a lap time, with 47 minutes and 26 seconds left on the clock. Nigel Walters also hasn't put a time on the board yet, with 46 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in this practice session.
He'll be wanting to get a feel for the car and track. It's about building confidence and getting that first baseline lap in the books.
And we have a crash. Greg Sabo has gone into the barriers at 116.05 km/h. Despite that incident, Greg Sabo still hasn't set a lap time, and there are 46 minutes and 27 seconds remaining.
It's always tough when you have an incident before you even put a time on the board. You need those early laps to build confidence and data.
Daniel Kocic is still searching for a lap time, now through T5, with 46 minutes and 9 seconds left in practice.
He'll be looking to hook up a clean lap here. That T5 section can be tricky, easy to lose time there if you're not precise.
Sten Wallstrom is another driver yet to get a time on the board, with 45 minutes and 55 seconds remaining in this practice session.
It's crucial for these drivers to get out there and feel the car, especially if they're making setup changes. You need that initial read of the track.
Nigel Walters, still without a lap time, is making his way through T11 with 45 minutes and 23 seconds left in the session.
He's probably pushing to get that first representative lap down. T11 is quite flowing, so you want to carry good speed through there without overdriving.
Daniel Kocic continues without a registered lap time, and we're now under 45 minutes remaining in practice. Tim Weller is another driver yet to post a time, with 44 minutes and 19 seconds left in practice.
It's important not to rush it, but you definitely want to get that initial read on the track and see how the car feels before you start pushing.
Sten Wallstrom has made contact with the barriers, a slow speed incident at 12.51 km/h. Sten Wallstrom, still without a lap time after that incident, is now in T1 with 43 minutes and 58 seconds left.
That low-speed contact will still unsettle the driver, especially when you're trying to get that first clean lap. It's hard to rebuild confidence immediately and push.
Daniel Kocic continues to circulate without a recorded lap time, currently in T11, 43 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock. Tim Weller is in T1, still without a lap time log, with 43 minutes and 26 seconds left in practice. Greg Sabo is still yet to push a lap time, with 42 minutes and 54 seconds remaining in the session. Jamie Price is another driver yet to set a lap time, currently through T5 with 42 minutes and 22 seconds left in practice.
It's all about finding that rhythm and confidence on these early laps. T5 is a key sector for carrying momentum onto the straight.
Daniel Kochish finally gets a lap on the board, a 1:40.845, placing him in P3 with 41 minutes and 50 seconds remaining.
That's a solid start for him. It's so important to get a representative lap in early, and to be P3 straight out of the box means he's found a good balance quickly.
Greg Sabo is back out, still without a time, now in T1 with 41 minutes and 18 seconds remaining.
After that earlier incident, he'll be wanting to take it a bit easier to get a feel, build the confidence back up, and put a time on the board.
Phil Bodkin is currently in T10, yet to set a lap time, with 40 minutes and 46 seconds left in practice.
T10 is a quick one, you need to carry a lot of speed through there. He'll be hoping to string together a full lap to get some data.
Sten Wallstrom has now put a time on the board, a 1:40.841, slotting into P3, still in T1 with 40 minutes and 14 seconds remaining. Nigel Walters posts a strong 138.904, good enough for P2, and he's back in T1 with 39 minutes and 42 seconds left. Elliot Norton is currently in T11, still without a registered lap time as we approach 39 minutes left in this practice session. Jareth Hallam is another driver yet to post a time, with 38 minutes and 37 seconds remaining.
Every lap is crucial in practice, even if it's not a flyer. You're learning about the track, the tires, and how the car responds.
Phil Bodkin still searching for lap time, with 38 minutes and 5 seconds left in this practice session.
He'll be wanting to get out there and get some miles in. The more data they can gather, the better prepared they are for qualifying in the race.
Daniel Kocic improves his time slightly to a 1:40.627, now P5, and he's back in T1 with 37 minutes and 33 seconds on the clock. Elliot Norton continues without a lap time, navigating T14, with 37 minutes and 1 second left in the session. Greg Sabo is still without a lap time, with 36 minutes and 29 seconds remaining in practice. Daniel Kocic holds his 1:40.627, now P6, and is back in T1 with 35 minutes and 57 seconds left. Jamie Price posts a 1:39.259, moving into P4 with 35 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. We have another incident. Daniel Kocic has hit the barriers at 108.6 km/h. Nigel Walters remains P3 with his 1:38.904, 35 minutes and 1 second left on the clock.
He's holding strong in the top three. That's a good indicator he's got a solid setup already for this track.
Greg Sabo finally gets a time on the board, a 1:39.860, putting him P5, now in T1 with 34 minutes and 29 seconds remaining. Josh Mitchell is currently in T5, still without a registered lap time as we have 33 minutes and 57 seconds left.
He'll be wanting to get out there and get some solid data. T5 requires a precise entry to carry speed through the corner.
Nigel Walters improves his time to a 1:38.294, now P5, and he's in T13 with 33 minutes and 25 seconds left. Elliot Norton posts a very strong 1:37.448, which puts him straight into P2, currently in T8.
That's an excellent first run, straight into the sharp end. T8 is quite a fast corner, so he's clearly got confidence in the car already.
Jamie Price improves to a 1:37.907, now P4, with 32 minutes and 21 seconds remaining in practice.
He's finding pace there. It's about building up that lap and extracting everything out of the car, lap after lap.
Sten Wallstrom improves his time to a 1:40.104, now P7, and he's in T14 with 31 minutes and 49 seconds left.
He's still working on it, but it's good to see him chipping away at the times after that earlier contact. Consistency is key in practice.
Jamie Price holds P4 with his 1:37.907, now in T14 with 31 minutes and 17 seconds left.
He'll be looking to maintain that momentum. It's about finding those marginal gains as the track rubbers in and the car's fuel load changes.
Josh Mitchell is still yet to put a time on the board, with 30 minutes and 45 seconds left in this practice session.
He'll be wanting to get out there soon. Every lap provides valuable data, especially for fine-tuning the setup for upcoming sessions.
And we have a crash. Tim Weller has gone into the barriers at 116.67 km/h.
That's a pretty hard hit. Even at that speed, the G-forces involved are substantial, and it really tests the car and the driver.
Dominic Fovarg is yet to set a lap time, with 30 minutes and 9 seconds left in this practice session.
He'll be keen to get out there and get a feel for the car and track. You don't want to leave it too late to find your rhythm.
Sten Wallstrom remains P9 with his 1:40.104, with 29 minutes and 37 seconds left in practice. Daniel Kochish holds P10 with his 1:40.627, 29 minutes and 5 seconds remaining. Nigel Walters remains P5 with his 1:38.294 as the clock shows 28 minutes and 33 seconds left. Rich Snape is in T7, still without a lap time, with exactly 28 minutes left in practice. Josh Mitchell continues to circulate without a recorded lap time, with 27 minutes and 28 seconds remaining. Dominic Fovart sets his first time, a 1:38.433, putting him P6, currently in T11 with 26 minutes and 56 seconds left. Daniel Kochish holds P10 with his 1:40.627, 26 minutes and 24 seconds left on the clock. Phil Botkin gets on the board with a 1:38.746, placing him P7 with 25 minutes and 52 seconds remaining.
That's a decent first effort from him. It's about finding that balance and understanding where you can push harder on the next run.
Jareth Hallam posts a strong 1:37.641, slotting into P3 with 25 minutes and 20 seconds left in practice.
He's definitely found some pace. To jump straight into the top three like that shows he's comfortable with the car already.
Sten Wallstrom remains P9 with his 1:40.104, 24 minutes and 48 seconds left in the session. Jareth Hallam holds P3 with his 1:37.641, currently in T8, 24 minutes and 16 seconds left. Josh Mitchell is in T14, still without a lap time registered, with 23 minutes and 44 seconds remaining. Jareth Hallam holds P3 with his 1:37.641, with 23 minutes and 12 seconds left on the clock.
He's definitely looking good. Being quick right out of the box is a huge confidence booster for the rest of the weekend.
Josh Mitchell finally puts a time on the board, a 1:40.619, placing him P11, now in T7 with 22 minutes and 59 seconds left. Another incident for Daniel Kocic, a hard hit into the barriers at 134.97 km/h. Phil Bodkin improves his time to a 1:38.628, now P8, with 22 minutes and 35 seconds remaining. Nigel Walters remains P6 with his 1:38.294, now in T5 with 22 minutes and 3 seconds left. Rich Snape posts a 1:38.212, moving into P6 with 21 minutes and 31 seconds remaining. Jareth Hallam holds P3 with his 1:37.641, with 20 minutes and 59 seconds left on the clock. Daniel Kocic has significantly improved his time to a 1:37.941, now placing him P5, currently in T13.
After those earlier incidents, that's a fantastic recovery. It shows he's found that confidence and really pushed the limits of the car.
Greg Sabo holds P12 with his 1:39.860, with 19 minutes and 55 seconds left in the session. Josh Mitchell is P13 with his 1:40.619, currently in T8, 19 minutes and 23 seconds remaining.
He'll be looking for more pace. T8 is one of those corners where a small error can cost you quite a bit of time.
Daniel Kocic remains P5 with his 1:37.941, navigating T12, with 18 minutes and 51 seconds remaining. Josh Mitchell has crashed into the barriers, a collision at 92.93 km/h. Nick Edwards sets a 1:38.202, slotting into P7, and he's in T8 with 18 minutes and 29 seconds left.
That's a strong first lap. He's showing good pace and control through those high-speed sections.
Jamie Price holds P4 with his 137.907, currently in T14, 17 minutes and 57 seconds left.
He's still right up there, consistently performing. It shows a good understanding of how to get the most out of the car on this track.
Phil Bodkin is P10 with his 138.628, now in T3, 17 minutes and 25 seconds remaining. Jareth Hallam and Josh Mitchell have made contact. A low-speed collision at 14.77 km/h.
Even at low speed, any contact can be disruptive and requires a checkover of the car.
Sten Wallstrom improves his time to a 138.821, now P11, and he's in T11 with 16 minutes and 55 seconds left.
He's finding more pace, steadily improving. That's what you want to see in practice, consistent progress.
Daniel Kochish holds P5 with his 137.941, currently in T4, with 16 minutes and 39 seconds left.
He's doing well to maintain that pace after the earlier incidents. It shows great resilience and focus to get back up to speed.
Jamie Price remains P4 with his 137.907, currently in T13, 16 minutes and 23 seconds left. Nigel Walters remains P9 with his 138.294, now in T9, 15 minutes and 51 seconds remaining.
He'll be looking to find those extra tenths in the next run. T9 is a tricky one, easy to understeer wide there.
Daniel Kochish holds P5 with his 137.941, now in T1, 15 minutes and 19 seconds left.
He's definitely established a good baseline. Now it's about seeing if he can eke out any more time as the track evolves.
Ryan Lim has crashed into the barriers, a low-speed incident at 27.26 km/h.
Even at that speed, hitting the wall can cause damage and certainly rattles the driver.
Ryan Lim is back out in T1, still yet to put a time on the board, with 14 minutes and 45 seconds remaining. Greg Sabo is P12 with his 139.860, currently in T11, 14 minutes and 37 seconds left.
He's had a challenging session with that early incident. He'll be focused on getting a clean run and building confidence for the next session.
Ryan Lim is still without a lap time, now in T7, with 14 minutes and 13 seconds left in practice.
He's definitely running out of time to put in a representative lap. It's a critical part of practice to get that initial read on the track.
Bart van de Sande is in T7, still searching for lap time, with 13 minutes and 41 seconds left. Phil Bodkin has crashed into the barriers, a significant impact at 121.41 km/h. Despite that incident, Phil Bodkin remains P11 with his 138.628, with 13 minutes and 19 seconds remaining. Rich Snape improves his time to a 137.896, now P7, and he's in T1 with 13 minutes and 11 seconds left.
That's a good step forward. He's clearly finding more pace as the session progresses, which is exactly what you want to see.
Bart van de Sande is still without a time, now in T14, with 12 minutes and 47 seconds left.
He's really pushing it close to get that first competitive lap in. Every minute counts now.
Mac McFarquhar is in T5, yet to set a lap time, with 12 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Contact. Josh Mitchell and Tim Weller have made contact, a 19.9 km/h collision.
That's a very low-speed incident, but even a slight knock can compromise the car, especially the steering or suspension.
Josh Mitchell holds P14 with his 140.619, with 11 minutes and 55 seconds remaining.
He's had a couple of incidents already. He'll be hoping to just get some clean running now and avoid any more trouble.
Dominic Fovarg improves to a 138.172, now P10, currently in T8, with 11 minutes and 42 seconds left. Elliot Norton improves his time significantly to a 137.158, moving up to P3, and he's in T11. Daniel Kochish holds P8 with his 137.941, with 10 minutes and 51 seconds left. David Johnston is another driver who still hasn't registered a lap time, with 10 minutes and 19 seconds remaining. Sten Wallstrom is P12 with his 138.821, now in T11, with 9 minutes and 47 seconds left. Jasper Greenwood is in T7, yet to set a lap time, with 9 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. Mac McFarquhar is still without a registered lap time, with 8 minutes and 43 seconds left in the session. Contact between Phil Botkin and Nigel Walters, a slow-speed collision at 11.29 km/h.
That's very low speed, but still, any contact is not what we want in a practice session. It can disrupt concentration and potentially cause minor damage.
Rich Snape holds P8 with his 137.896, 8 minutes and 20 seconds remaining. Bart van de Sande posts a 139.411, placing him P14, with 8 minutes and 13 seconds left in practice. Nick Edwards improves his time to a 1:37.625, now P4, currently in T5, with 7 minutes and 48 seconds remaining.
That's a strong improvement, moving him up the order. T5 is crucial for a good exit onto the straight, so he's really maximizing that corner.
David Johnston sets his first lap, a 1:37.972, putting him P11, and he's in T7 with 7 minutes and 16 seconds left. Nick Edwards holds P4 with his 1:37.625, now in T13, with 6 minutes and 44 seconds left. Jareth Hallam goes quickest, a 1:36.937 puts him in P1, and he's now in T3. Elliot Norton has gone into the barriers, low speed impact at 24.1 km/h.
That's an unfortunate little moment for him, especially when he was looking strong. You don't want to be losing time to incidents in practice.
Rich Snape holds P9 with his 1:37.896, currently in T11, 5 minutes and 32 seconds left. Sten Wallstrom is P14 with his 1:38.821, now in T1, 5 minutes and 24 seconds left. Phil Bodkin remains P13 with his 1:38.628, as we hit the 5-minute mark in practice. Dominic Fovarg improves his time to a 1:37.685, now P6, with 4 minutes and 28 seconds left. Greg Sabo has crashed into the barriers, a big hit at 135.39 km/h.
That's a very heavy impact. You can really feel that even watching on the monitors. He'll be sore after that one.
Daniel Kochish improves to a 1:37.796, now P8, currently in T13, with 4 minutes and 6 seconds remaining. Rich Snape holds P10 with his 1:37.896, with 3 minutes and 57 seconds left.
He's still in the top 10, which is a good place to be in practice. Now it's about seeing if there's any more left in the car.
Chris Stokes posts a 1:37.562, good for P6, and he's currently in T6. Bart van de Sande improves his time to a 1:38.197, now P13, and he's in T12 with 3 minutes and 2 seconds left.
He's finding some pace towards the end of the session. It's a good sign that he's getting more comfortable with the car's setup.
Josh Mitchell has crashed into the barriers, low-speed impact at 56.22 km/h.
Another incident for Mitchell. He's had a really tough practice session today, lots of interruptions to his running.
Jasper Greenwood sets his first lap, a 1:39.803, putting him P16, and he's in T7 with 2 minutes and 34 seconds left.
He's finally got a time on the board. It's late in the session, but at least he'll have some data to work with now.
Nick Edwards improves to a 1:37.209, now P4, currently in T14, with 2 minutes and 2 seconds left. Jareth Hallam holds on to P1 with his 1:36.937, now in T13, with 1 minute and 30 seconds left.
He's definitely established himself as the benchmark in this session. It'll be interesting to see if anyone can challenge that in these final moments.
Nick Edwards holds P4 with his 1:37.209, with just 58 seconds left in the session. Dominic Fauvarg holds P7 with his 1:37.685, with only 26 seconds remaining.
It's all about consolidating positions now for these drivers. Not much time left for a significant improvement.
Sten Wallstrom is P15 with his 1:38.821, now in T7, with only 5 seconds left on the clock. Jamie Price improves to a 1:37.802, now P9, with just 15 seconds left in practice.
He's definitely making the most of these final moments, trying to squeeze out every last bit of pace before the checkered flag.
David Johnston is P12 with his 1:37.972, now in T4, with only 47 seconds remaining.
He's putting in a final effort there. Every last bit of data from these closing moments can be valuable, even if he's not improving his time significantly.
Josh Mitchell has crashed into the barriers, low-speed impact at 22.81 km/h.
That's another frustrating moment for him. Even small contacts like that mean lost track time and potential checks.
Jamie Price remains P9 with his 1:37.802, and we're down to 1 minute and 19 seconds left in practice. Nick Edwards goes fastest, a 1:36.821 puts him into P1, with just 1 minute and 28 seconds left in practice.
What a lap from him right at the end. To find that kind of pace when the session is winding down shows real commitment and confidence.
David Johnston has gone into the barriers, a collision at 89.0 km/h.
That's a pretty sharp impact. It's tough when you're pushing for those final tenths and it just doesn't come off.
David Johnston remains P12 with his 1:37.972, with 1 minute and 57 seconds left. Qualification is just moments away here at Taupo, a brisk 11-knot wind adding another element to contend with today.
Those winds can really catch you out in certain corners. I remember a few hairy moments through the back section myself when it gusted like this.
Nigel Walters is yet to post a time as we tick down to just under 4.5 minutes left in this qualification session. Jareth Hallam is currently in T6, still searching for a qualifying lap time with just over 4 minutes remaining on the clock. David Johnston is another driver yet to log a time, currently navigating through T7 with under 4 minutes left in this crucial quali session.
You've got to find clear air in these final moments, otherwise you just can't string a lap together. That T7 can be a make or break for lap time too.
Josh Mitchell is pushing hard in T13, needing to set a time soon as we count down to just over 3 minutes left. Bart van de Sande is just starting his hot lap now, into T1 with 3 minutes and change left to post a time.
This is it, the absolute last chance for these drivers. You have to nail T1 and T2, get that initial flow, otherwise the whole lap is compromised.
Bart van de Sande fires in a 1:38.622, immediately going to the top of the leaderboard with just 93 seconds left.
That's an impressive time under pressure. That's what you need to do in these situations. No room for error when it's all on the line like that.
Phil Bodkin is still without a time as the clock continues to wind down, just over a minute left in qualifying. Tim Weller is in T14, needing to find something quickly with just 72 seconds remaining in this session. Nigel Walters is absolutely flying. He's in T6 and nearly half a second up on his best time, pushing for a better grid spot with just 1 minute left. And we've had a big one. Ryan Lim has gone into the barriers at 91.4 km/h.
That's a significant impact into the wall there. You really feel those hits, especially when the car just stops dead like that.
Daniel Kocic is still searching for a lap time, the clock showing just 6 seconds remaining.
This is it, he needs a miracle here. You just push absolutely everything you have left in these final moments.
Elliot Norton still has no time on the board with just 17 seconds left in this qualification session. Tim Weller is in T14, but still without a time as the final 25 seconds tick away in qualifying. David Johnston is on an absolute flyer, 0.45 seconds up on his best time with just 35 seconds to go.
This is where you just dig deep, every ounce of commitment on the line. He's really found something in these final moments.
And look at Jasper Greenwood. He's massively improving, over 7/10 up on his personal best with less than 50 seconds remaining.
When you see a delta like that, it means they've absolutely hooked something up. Finding that much time at the end of a session is pure concentration.
Daniel Kocic is currently well down on his best time, over 6 seconds off as he looks to improve with just over a minute left in qualifying. Josh Mitchell is still searching for a time on the board with just under 90 seconds remaining in this qualification session. Josh Mitchell has just completed a lap, but it looks like he hasn't managed to set a time on the board yet with just over a minute and a half remaining. We are live at Taupo International Motorsport Park, the engines are screaming, and the grid is packed, ready for the lights.
There's nothing quite like that feeling on the grid, just before the start, pure adrenaline and focus.
Nick Edwards, an M-Class driver from Canada, is poised in second place on the grid, ready in his Mini Cooper JCW challenge.
P2 is a fantastic qualifying effort for an AM driver, but it also brings a lot of pressure as you head into that first corner.
Right behind him in third, it's Dominic Fovard, a Pro-Am driver from the UK, also in a Mini JCW.
Fovard will be looking to capitalize on any early mistakes, and that Pro-Am experience will serve him well in the opening laps.
Further down the grid in fifth, we have Nigel Walters from the UK, another M-Class driver in his Mini Cooper JCW.
Sixth place for Rich Snape, another AM driver from the UK. The midfield is really stacking up with competitive drivers.
And in seventh, it's David Johnston, an M-Class competitor, also in the Mini JCW. Occupying eighth spot on the grid, it's Daniel Kocic from Hungary, another M-Class driver.
Eighth place, you're right in the thick of it there. It's a position where you really need to keep your head up and avoid any early skirmishes. Mac McFarquhar, a pro driver from the UK, starts from ninth. He'll be looking to make up positions quickly.
Jamie Price, an M-Class driver, rounds out the top 10 starters on the grid.
From 10th, the goal is always a clean start and finding the gaps to move forward, particularly with so many AM drivers around him.
In 11th, we find Chris Stokes from England, a Pro-Am class driver. Greg Sabo from Italy, an M-Class driver, will start from position 12.
From the middle of the pack, consistency is key for these AM drivers, especially in the opening laps. Bart van de Sande, a pro driver from the Netherlands, starts from 13th, definitely not where he wants to be.
And in 14th, it's Phil Bodkin from England, an M-Class driver.
Jasper Greenwood, another AM driver from the UK, starting from P15.
Sten Wallstrom, an M-Class driver, lines up in 16th position.
Ryan Lim from Malaysia, an M-Class driver, starts from P17.
Down in 18th, we have Josh Mitchell from Italy, another M-Class driver.
You're really just trying to stay out of trouble at the back of the grid and find clean air to run your own race.
The lights are out and we are go at Taupo. Contact. Jamie Price and Mac McFarquhar have come together. Elliot Norton holds station in 4th position as we come through the first lap.
Maintaining your grid spot on lap 1 is a job well done, especially with all the chaos around you.
Norton remains solidly in 4th, a very composed start from him. Sten Wallstrom has dropped back to 18th, losing a couple of spots on this opening lap.
Sometimes you just get caught on the wrong side of a move or lose momentum, especially in the pack at the start.
More drama. Jasper Greenwood and Bart van de Sande have made contact.
That's an unfortunate coming together. Both drivers will be hoping for minimal damage.
Tim Weller, who started way back in 19th, has made up ground to 16th.
Three places gained on the first lap. That's a very impressive start from Weller.
Weller really pushing hard. He's found good pace early on. Daniel Kosich remains in 8th, but an incredible recovery from Mac McFarquhar sees him now just a 10th ahead in 7th, a real battle brewing there. Trouble for Nick Edwards and Daniel Kosich. They've made contact.
Oh, that's a significant collision there. Both cars definitely took a hit.
Jamie Price is now in 12th, right on the tail of Phil Bodkin, just a 10th separating them, with 1:48.938 on his last lap and 9 minutes plus 1 extra lap remaining.
Price has dropped back from Bodkin. That gap has suddenly opened up to a full second.
Daniel Kosich remains in 8th, still chasing Mac McFarquhar in 7th with just 2 tenths separating them, a 1:47.435 on his last tour.
Kosich is still glued to the rear of McFarquhar. That 0.2 second gap is holding firm.
What an opening to this race. We've had incidents already and drivers scrambling for position.
This circuit, especially in these cars, really encourages close racing, which inevitably leads to contact in the early stages.
We've seen a couple of collisions already, including that one involving Nick Edwards and Daniel Kosich. It's certainly mixed things up.
It's all about trying to find that clean air and manage your tires, particularly when you're in the middle of the pack. Drivers are pushing hard from the very first corner.
And what about those drivers like Tim Weller, who started further back and have already made significant progress?
That comes down to precise driving and spotting opportunities. Finding those gaps, and trusting your car and your instincts, is crucial in the chaos of lap 1.
Tim Weller is now in 18th, chasing Josh Mitchell who is just 3 tenths ahead. Weller's last lap a 1:43.691, with 8 minutes plus an extra lap remaining.
He's still putting in solid lap times. That 1 minute 43 seconds and 6 milliseconds is a good marker, suggesting he's pushing despite dropping a few spots since his early gains.
Weller has moved up to 17th and is now even closer to Josh Mitchell, closing that gap to just 2/10. Weller has done it. He's passed Josh Mitchell and is now in 16th, with a 0.2 second lead.
That's a fantastic move, very clinical and decisive to get past Mitchell.
Big impact for David Johnston, he's hit the barriers. Greg Sabo is down in 19th, right on the tail of Ryan Lim, just a tenth separating them on lap 2, with a 1:44.616 on his last lap and 7 minutes plus 1 extra lap remaining.
Sabo has made the move on Lim. He's up to 18th, putting Ryan Lim in his mirrors.
Nick Edwards is now up to 6th, chasing Rich Snape, who is just 2/10 ahead in 5th, a 1:39.344 for Edwards on his last lap, with 6 minutes plus 1 extra lap to go.
That's a very quick lap from Edwards given what happened earlier. He's clearly pushing hard to recover those lost positions.
The gap between Edwards and Snape has opened up to 7/10. Snape must have found some pace. Mac McFarquhar is in 9th, closing in on Chris Stokes in 8th, just 2/10 separates them. McFarquhar's best lap now a 1:37.709 with 6 minutes plus 1 extra lap remaining.
The gap to Stokes has edged out to 3/10 from McFarquhar. He'll need to find a bit more to make that move.
Elliot Norton is flying in 2nd position. He's pulled out a 1.4 second gap to Dominic Fovard in 3rd, putting in a 1:37.022 on his last lap with 5 minutes plus an extra lap remaining. Norton has dropped a position. He's now 3rd, with Fovard moving ahead and building that gap to 1.5 seconds.
That's a significant change at the front. Fovard clearly found something extra to make that overtake stick. Bart Van de Sande is in 13th, now chasing Chris Stokes in 12th, just 2/10 separating them. His best lap now a 1:38.038 with 5 minutes plus 1 extra lap left. The gap to Stokes has extended to 7/10. Van de Sande is losing ground there.
Mac McFarquhar has moved up to 8th, now a half second behind Daniel Kocic in 7th, putting in a 1:37.724 on his last lap, with 4 minutes plus 1 extra lap to go. Another incident. Jamie Price and Chris Stokes have made contact.
Mac McFarquhar is now up to 7th, closing on Daniel Kocic, the gap just 3/10 now.
McFarquhar is right on the tail of Kocic. That gap is now just a 1/10 of a second. Oh, Tim Weller has gone into the barriers. A heavy impact there.
That looked like a big one, really hoping he's alright after that hit. Still absolutely neck and neck between McFarquhar and Kocic for 6th, barely a car length in it.
He's done it. McFarquhar has overtaken Kocic and is now in 6th position.
That was a brilliantly executed move. McFarquhar has really worked hard for that position.
Huge drama for Mac McFarquhar. He's dropped all the way back to 12th, and Daniel Kocic is now well ahead in 6th, a massive 5.9 second gap.
Jasper Greenwood is in 12th, just 2/10 behind Mac McFarquhar in 11th, putting in a 1:39.559 on his last lap, his best a 1:38.365 as they continue to fight in the midfield.
Contact again. Jasper Greenwood and Mac McFarquhar have come together. Mac McFarquhar is in 12th now, chasing Jasper Greenwood in 11th with a 3/10 gap, his last lap a 1:44.659.
That last lap time from McFarquhar is significantly slower than his best, indicating that contact definitely took a toll on the car, making it harder to close that gap to Greenwood.
McFarquhar is holding that gap to Greenwood at 3/10. He's not letting him get away. Elliot Norton in third is now just 4/10 behind Dominic Fovarg in second, setting his best lap of 1:36.930 on the last tour. Unbelievable, Greenwood and McFarquhar have made contact yet again.
They just can't seem to avoid each other out there. That's the second time for those two.
Tim Weller is in 13th, absolutely hounding Mac McFarquhar, just a tenth of a second separating them. Weller's best lap of 1:38.139.
Weller is really putting the pressure on. That kind of close racing often forces a mistake from the driver ahead.
Weller now has Mac McFarquhar 2 positions ahead in 11th, the gap extending to 3/10 as positions shift around them.
Jasper Greenwood holds 12th, just ahead of Tim Weller, with a 2/10 buffer, clocking a 1:40.374 on his last lap.
Greenwood has stretched his lead over Weller to 4/10 of a second. He's pulling away slightly.
Every 10th counts, and that bit of breathing room will allow Greenwood to focus on his own lines and pace.
The amount of action we've seen in this race already is just incredible. The mini JCWs are really putting on a show.
These cars are so evenly matched. It forces drivers to be aggressive and really work for every position, which often leads to the kind of close racing we're witnessing.
We've had a few incidents, but it's impressive to see how quickly some drivers are able to regroup and get back into the fight.
That resilience is crucial. When you have contact or a moment, it's easy to lose focus, but the best drivers immediately reset and look to recover. I've had to do that myself many times.
And the battles throughout the field, not just at the very front, are just relentless. The midfield is constantly changing.
It's a testament to the competition. You're never really safe in your position. There's always someone looking to make a move or capitalize on a mistake. It's exhilarating from the cockpit.
Tim Weller is now right on the back of Jasper Greenwood, just a tenth separating them in the battle for 12th. Weller's last lap of 1:38.334. More contact. Tim Weller and Jamie Price have tangled.
They've come together there, both cars just touched.
Jamie Price is in 14th, battling Tim Weller in 13th through turn 1, only 2/10 separating them. Price's best lap of 1:37.692. And again, Tim Weller and Jasper Greenwood have made contact. Nick Edwards is in 7th, chasing Daniel Kosic in 6th through turn 7, just 3/10 separating them. Edwards setting a new best lap of 1:37.628.
Edwards is really on a charge. That's a very fast lap, suggesting he's pushing hard for that position.
Edwards has closed up on Kosic even further. The gap is now just 2/10.
He's sensing an opportunity here, really pressuring Kosic into a potential mistake.
Crash. Rich Snape and Daniel Kosic have collided. Phil Bodkin is in 10th, just 2/10 behind Nick Edwards in 9th, setting his best lap of 1:37.884 on lap 7.
Bodkin has made the move on Edwards and established a significant 1.1 second gap to him.
What a race this has turned into. The action just keeps coming, especially through that midfield.
It's absolutely relentless out there. Every single corner, every driver is trying to find a 10, trying to gain a spot, and it just leads to these incredible battles and occasional contact.
We've seen multiple incidents, some drivers even making contact with each other more than once. It's truly a test of nerve and precision.
When you're racing wheel to wheel like that, sometimes the smallest lapse in judgment or even just a tiny shift in line from the car ahead can lead to a touch. It's a risk you take when you're pushing for position.
And despite the chaos, we're seeing some fantastic recoveries and overtakes. It's far from over for anyone out there.
That's the mindset you need. After a contact or a spin, the key is to immediately reset, assess the car, and just get back on the throttle. You have to quickly put it out of your mind and focus on the next corner, the next opportunity.
And another one, Jasper Greenwood and Tim Weller have made contact again.
Jamie Price is in 13th, now 7/10ths behind Jasper Greenwood in 12th, with a 1:39.918 on his last lap as the race heads into its final stages.
Jareth Hallam is commanding the lead by a massive 4.2 seconds from Elliot Norton and is now just 20 seconds away from the checkered flag. Jareth Hallam crosses the line. From pole to victory, a dominant win here at Taupo. Elliot Norton finishes in second place, a strong drive from fourth on the grid.
That's an excellent result for Norton, maintaining a solid pace and keeping out of trouble to secure a podium.
Dominic Fovard takes the final podium spot, finishing third.
Fovard converts his third-place start into a podium, a really consistent and well-managed race from him.
Nigel Walters, Daniel Košić, Rich Snape, and Phil Botkin cross the line, finishing 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th respectively.
And the rest of the field comes through: Chris Stokes in 8th, David Johnston 9th, Mac McFarquhar 10th, and Tim Weller in 11th.
Jasper Greenwood, Jamie Price, Sten Wallstrom, and Bart van de Sande finished 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th. And finally, Josh Mitchell crosses the line in 16th, followed by Greg Sabo in 17th.
Ryan Lim rounds out the finishers, coming home in 18th position.
The atmosphere is electric here at Taupo International Motorsport Park. The grid is packed, and the countdown has begun.
Every driver will be feeling that nervous energy right now, especially with that wind. It can really throw you off balance for the fast sweeps.
Greg Sabo, the Italian driver, lines up in second place, a strong showing for the AM class in his Mini Cooper JCW Challenge.
P2 is a great place to start, especially in a Mini. You're right there to capitalize on any early race chaos, but also vulnerable to pressure from behind.
And just behind him, in fourth, we have Bart van de Sande from the Netherlands, a pro-class driver who will be looking to make an early move. Sten Wallstrom holds down fifth position on the grid, another AM-class driver in a Mini Cooper, ready for the green light.
Fifth is a good starting spot, giving an AM driver a chance to settle in before getting into the thick of it, but also close enough to the leaders to stay in touch.
Right behind Wallstrom is Jamie Price, starting from sixth position, another AM driver in the Mini Cooper JCW.
From sixth, you're always looking for an opening on that first lap. It's a critical position, giving you a good view of the front but also needing to defend.
Tim Weller, from the UK, starts from 8th in his Mini Cooper, an M-Class driver hoping for a strong race. Mac McFarquhar, the pro-class driver from the UK, lines up in 9th, a bit further back than he might like.
9th isn't ideal for a pro, you've got to be aggressive early on to gain ground without making contact. It's a tough balance.
Rounding out the top 10 we have David Johnston, another AM-class driver in the Mini Cooper.
From P10, it's all about minimizing risk and maximizing opportunity on the first lap. You want to gain positions without getting caught in any early incidents.
Chris Stokes, the Pro-Am class driver from England, starts just outside the top 10 in 11th place. And in 12th, we find Phil Bodkin, another English driver in the AM class, ready for the lights to go out. Rich Snape from the United Kingdom starts from 13th, another AM driver looking to climb through the field. Daniel Kosic from Hungary is in 14th, an AM class driver preparing for the start. Nigel Walters, the AM-class driver from the UK, starts from 15th in his Mini Cooper JCW.
In the mid-pack like this, the first lap is absolutely crucial. You need to be aware of everything happening around you, left and right.
Dominic Fovard, the Pro-Am driver from the UK, starts in 16th place.
He'll be looking to make up ground quickly. Being a Pro-Am in the mid-pack means you've got to be smart about your overtakes.
Elliot Norton from the UK starts 17th, another Pro-Am class driver ready for the green flag. Jareth Hallam, the final driver we're introducing on the grid, starts 18th, a Pro-Am from the United Kingdom.
From the very back, it's all about finding clear air and picking your way through the field safely. Consistency will be key for him.
And the lights are out. We are green at Taupo, and the field surges forward. Trouble in the pack. David Johnston and Daniel Kosic have made contact.
That looked like a relatively low-speed bump, but even at 10.5 kmph, contact can change the line and compromise the car.
Despite that earlier contact, Daniel Kosic has managed to gain 4 places on this opening lap, now up to 10th. Remarkable recovery from Daniel Kosic, now into the top 10 on this first lap after starting P14.
Bart van de Sande, a pro driver, has dropped significantly from 4th all the way down to 12th on this opening lap. That's a huge loss of positions early on.
Another incident. Mac McFarquhar and Rich Snape have made contact.
That looked like a light touch at 6.15 kmph, but even a slight bump can unsettle the car and disrupt a driver's rhythm.
What a start for Jamie Price. He's rocketed from 6th up to 2nd on this opening lap.
That's an incredible gain for an AM driver on the first lap, moving up 4 positions into P2. He's really found his pace early.
Unbelievable. Jamie Price has taken the lead. He's now P1 with Josh Mitchell just 0.3 seconds behind in 2nd. What a move from Price. More contact. Nick Edwards and Mac McFarquhar have come together.
Another low-speed incident, just 5.52 kmph, with enough to cause a moment of concern and potentially affect their handling.
Now with Jareth Hallam in 11th, chasing down Nick Edwards in 10th, just 0.2 seconds separating them on this opening lap. Jareth Hallam has slipped back a spot, now in 12th, losing a bit of ground to Nick Edwards. The gap now 0.3 seconds.
He might have just lost a position, but he's still close enough to Edwards to make a move. Staying calm and consistent will be key here.
We have another incident. Jareth Hallam and Bart van de Sande have come together, a 10.24 kmph collision. Focus now on Elliot Norton, running in a strong 5th position, right on the tail of Jasper Greenwood, just 0.2 seconds between them. Elliot Norton continues to hold 5th place, still just 0.2 seconds adrift of Jasper Greenwood in 4th. The battle remains intense.
That gap is holding steady. It shows incredible pressure from Norton and a very strong defense from Greenwood. Neither wants to give an inch.
Now we're following Mac McFarquhar, he's in 8th, just 0.2 seconds behind Nigel Walters in 7th.
McFarquhar, a pro driver, will be pushing hard to get past Walters. That small gap means he's right in the slipstream, looking for an opening.
The gap between Mac McFarquhar and Nigel Walters has just stretched out to 0.3 seconds, McFarquhar still holding 8th. Now with Tim Weller, down in 15th, with David Johnston just 0.3 seconds behind him in 16th, a battle brewing at the back. More contact, Nigel Walters and Mac McFarquhar have collided, a 10.12 kmph impact. Nick Edwards is now in 9th, pushing hard to close that 0.2 second gap to Nigel Walters, who's just ahead in 8th. Nick Edwards holds 9th, still pushing hard, but Nigel Walters has actually moved up to 7th ahead of him, maintaining that 0.2 second gap. Nick Edwards has gained a position, now 8th, but the gap to Nigel Walters in 7th has stretched slightly to 0.5 seconds. Tim Weller is now in 15th, right on the tail of Phil Bodkin in 14th, just 0.2 seconds separating them. Tim Weller has made the pass, now up to 14th, and the gap to Phil Bodkin is 0.0 seconds. Tim Weller has dropped back to 15th, with Phil Bodkin now reclaiming 14th, the gap again 0.2 seconds.
It looks like a classic switchback, or perhaps Weller just couldn't make the move stick. That's a real jostle for position.
Phil Bodkin is currently in 15th, still chasing Tim Weller, who's in 14th, the gap a mere 0.2 seconds between them. Phil Bodkin remains in 15th, but that gap to Tim Weller in 14th has just edged out to 0.3 seconds. Rich Snape is in 5th, right on the tail of Jasper Greenwood in 4th, just 0.2 seconds separating these two. The gap between Rich Snape and Jasper Greenwood has closed even further, now down to just 0.1 seconds. Snape is piling on the pressure.
That's practically nose to tail. Snape is looking for any opportunity to dive past, especially coming into the braking zones.
Mac McFarquhar is now in 5th, just a tenth of a second behind Jasper Greenwood. The battle for 4th is heating up. That gap has suddenly opened up. Mac McFarquhar is still 5th, but now 0.7 seconds behind Jasper Greenwood. Something must have happened there. Bart Van de Sonde is now running in 12th, setting his sights on Josh Mitchell, just 0.3 seconds ahead in 11th.
He's still trying to recover from that early race drop. Getting past Mitchell would be a good step forward, especially being a pro driver.
The gap between Bart Van de Sonde and Josh Mitchell has just stretched out to 0.5 seconds. Van de Sonde remains in 12th. Nigel Walters is now in 7th place, closing in on Jamie Price in 6th, only 0.2 seconds separating them. Huge impact. Greg Sabo has gone into the barriers at high speed.
That was a significant hit for Sabo, 124.18 kmph. He certainly felt that one, a very strong impact into the wall.
Now with Jasper Greenwood in 4th, just 0.1 seconds behind Mac McFarquhar in 3rd. What a battle for that podium spot. The gap between Jasper Greenwood and Mac McFarquhar has opened up quite suddenly. now 0.6 seconds, with Greenwood still in 4th. This race has really delivered on the action front already, hasn't it? So many position changes and a fair bit of contact.
It's relentless out there, especially in these Mini Coopers where the performance is so similar. You really have to fight for every inch.
We've seen a few low-speed bumps, particularly those early ones. Does that tend to unsettle a driver more, or is it just part of the rough and tumble?
It's definitely unsettling. Even if it doesn't break anything, it changes your line, your focus. In my experience, those small touches can lead to bigger mistakes later if you're not careful.
Absolutely, and the way some drivers have recovered from early setbacks, like Daniel Kocic, has been impressive.
That's where the mental game comes in. You have to put the incident behind you immediately and just focus on the next corner, the next opportunity.
More contact in the mid-pack. Chris Stokes and Bart van de Sande have come together, a 9.29 km/h collision. Now with David Johnston running in 14th, chasing Phil Bodkin in 13th, a 0.3 second gap between them.
He's been consistent despite that early contact. This is a good battle for him to try and gain a position back.
David Johnston has dropped a position, now 15th, and the gap to Phil Bodkin has grown to 0.5 seconds. David Johnston has immediately regained 14th, back on the tail of Phil Bodkin, the gap now 0.3 seconds once again. Tim Weller is in 15th, now chasing David Johnston in 14th, just 0.2 seconds separating these two. Another incident involving Bart van de Sande and Chris Stokes. They've made contact again, this time at 4.69 km/h. Josh Mitchell is in 12th place, pounding Bart van de Sande in 11th, just 0.2 seconds between them.
Van de Sande has been involved in a lot of contact today, so Mitchell needs to be smart here. He'll be looking for any signs of instability.
Josh Mitchell has made the move. He's now up to 11th, with Bart van de Sande just 0.2 seconds behind him. Tim Weller remains in 15th, still chasing David Johnston in 14th, the gap remains 0.2 seconds. Tim Weller has made the pass. He's up to 14th, leaving David Johnston just behind him, the gap is 0.0. This race continues to be incredibly lively. We've seen so much wheel-to-wheel action and plenty of minor incidents.
It's what happens when you have such tight racing and equal machinery. Every driver is pushing to the absolute limit, and sometimes that edge is crossed.
We've seen some drivers involved in multiple contacts today, like Bart van de Sande. How does that impact their race overall?
It's mentally draining. You're constantly checking your mirrors, trying to manage the car's integrity, and still push for lap times. It forces you to rethink your approach a bit.
And yet, we've also seen some impressive recoveries, drivers dropping back and then fighting their way through.
That's the mark of a true racer. You can't dwell on what's happened. You reset, focus, and find the next opportunity to gain back what you lost.
Contact in the midfield. Jareth Hallam and Dominic Fovart have collided at 3.74 km/h. Now with Greg Sabo, down in 17th, still pushing to close that 0.2 second gap to Ryan Lim in 16th.
Szabo's had a tough race after that early impact with the barriers. He's showing real grit to still be fighting in these positions.
Josh Mitchell is in 11th, with Bart van de Sande right on his bumper in 12th, the gap is 0.0 seconds.
This is an incredible battle for 11th. Mitchell knows van de Sande will be looking to get that spot back immediately.
Massive change there. Josh Mitchell has plummeted to 14th, and Bart van de Sande is now 5.8 seconds ahead in 11th. What happened there? More contact in the back. Ryan Lim and Greg Sabo have made contact, an 8.35 km/h collision. Now with Tim Weller, he's in 13th, right on the tail of Phil Bodkin in 12th, just 0.2 seconds between them.
These two have been inseparable for much of the race. This is another opportunity for Weller to make a move.
Tim Weller has successfully passed Phil Bodkin and is now in 12th, opening up a 0.4 second gap. Tim Weller continues his charge, now up to 11th. The gap to Phil Bodkin in 12th has grown to 0.7 seconds.
He's really found some pace in these last few laps. That's a good clean move. Extending the lead shows he's got good rhythm.
Chris Stokes is in 9th, pushing hard for T14, just 0.2 seconds behind Nigel Walters in 8th. Massive crash for Bart van de Sande. He's gone hard into the barriers.
Wow, that was a huge one, 213.58 kmph into the wall. That's a severe impact, he certainly felt that.
Chris Stokes is in 9th through T2, just 0.2 seconds behind Jareth Hallam in 8th as they battle for position. Chris Stokes has made the pass. He's up to 8th, now with Jareth Hallam 0.2 seconds behind in 9th.
That was a well-executed move from Stokes. He's been patient but decisive when the opportunity arose.
What an absolute rollercoaster of a race this has been. So much action, so many overtakes and incidents.
It's incredibly demanding on the drivers. You're constantly on the edge, and even small errors can have big consequences, as we've seen.
Especially that recent crash for Bart van de Sande, a really high-speed impact. It just shows how quickly things can change.
Those kinds of hits are jarring. You feel every bit of it, and it takes real mental fortitude to get back out there and push again, even if the car's okay.
And yet, we still have these amazing battles throughout the field, drivers pushing each other corner after corner.
That's the mini challenge for you. It's so competitive, you can never relax, never let your guard down for a second.
Elliot Norton is leading, and he's just 20 seconds from the checkered flag, with Daniel Koscic 0.8 seconds behind, charging hard. Elliot Norton crosses the line, from 17th on the grid to winner. What an absolutely stunning drive.
Winning from P17 is an incredible feat in any series, but especially here. It shows exceptional racecraft, patience, and knowing exactly when to push. That's a drive he'll remember for a long time.
Contact on the final lap. Jamie Price and Jasper Greenwood have collided at 33.65 kmph. Daniel Koscic crosses the line in second. A fantastic recovery after an early incident, P14 to P2.
What a turnaround for Koscic. To battle back from that contact on lap 1 and finish second, that speaks volumes about his determination.
And Mac McFarquhar takes third place. From 9th on the grid, a strong podium finish for the pro driver.
He had to work for that, fighting through the mid-pack. A well-deserved podium for McFarquhar after a challenging race.
Jamie Price crosses the line in 4th, followed by Jasper Greenwood in 5th, Dominic Fovarg in 6th, and Nigel Walters rounding out the top 7. And over the line come Chris Stokes in 8th, Jareth Hallam in 9th, Tim Weller in 10th, and Phil Bodkin finishing 11th. Rich Snape finishes 12th, followed by David Johnston in 13th, Greg Sabo in 14th, and Ryan Lim in 15th.
Every one of those drivers battled hard to the very end, even after all the incidents. It was a race of endurance and perseverance.
And crossing the line now are Josh Mitchell in 16th, and Sten Wallstrom in 17th.
It's a tough finish for some of these drivers, but every position counts, especially for championship points.
Practice session ticking down, just over 8 minutes remaining, and still no lap time on the board for Nick Edwards. And similar to Edwards, Greg Sabo is yet to register a time with less than 7 minutes, 50 seconds on the clock. Nigel Walters still without a time, currently navigating turn 11 as the session dwindles to just over 7 minutes. Greg Sabo still hasn't put in a time. He's through turn 8 now with just over 6.5 minutes left.
You've really got to push on those out laps in these late stages of practice, trying to find clean air and get that feel for the car.
Jareth Hallam also without a time, currently in turn 7, 6 minutes and 6 seconds on the clock. Five and a half minutes left in practice, and Nigel Walters is still out there, yet to set a time, currently in turn 10.
You're really under pressure at this point. Finding that rhythm on cold tires and getting a representative lap in is a huge challenge, especially in a busy session.
Trouble out on track. Josh Mitchell and Sten Wallstrom have made contact at just over 23 km per hour. Nick Edwards has finally set a time, and it's a quick one. 1:37.108 puts him straight into P1 with just under 5 minutes remaining.
That's an impressive first run. Often you need a few laps to build up, but to nail it on the first attempt shows real confidence in the car.
Phil Bodkin is still out there looking for a time, through turn 9 now with just 4 minutes and 26 seconds left on the clock.
This late in practice, it's about finding that clear window. You don't want to get caught up behind someone else's dirty air when you're trying to set your first representative time.
And we've had another incident. Jareth Hallam has gone into the barriers at nearly 94 km per hour. Sten Wallstrom has now put in a time, a 1:41.043, placing him into second position with just over 4 minutes remaining. Nigel Walters is still looking for a time, through turn 10 now as we dip below 4 minutes left in practice. Ryan Lem is yet to show a time on the board with 3 minutes and 31 seconds left in the session. Another incident involving Josh Mitchell, this time making contact with Jareth Hallam at just over 20 km per hour.
That's 2 incidents now for Mitchell. You don't want to be making those mistakes in a practice session. It eats into crucial track time.
Nick Edwards improves his own best time, a 1:36.918, solidifying his lead at the top of the standings. He's currently in turn 11.
He's really found his rhythm now, shaving off those extra tenths. That's the kind of progression you want to see as the session closes out.
Greg Sabo is still without a lap time as we approach the 2-minute, 55-second mark in practice. Tim Weller jumps up into second position, a 1:37.547, a strong lap from him, currently in turn 11.
That's a good benchmark to set. When I was out there, finding that clear air in the last few minutes was always key to getting a representative lap like that.
Nigel Walters finally registers a lap time, a 1:39.289, putting him into fourth position with just over 2 minutes left.
He'll be relieved to get that on the board. You can't start the weekend without a benchmark, and sometimes it's those last few minutes where it all comes together after feeling out the car.
Jamie Price puts in a 1:38.036, moving him into fourth position as we enter the final minute and a half of practice.
That's a solid lap under pressure. You've got to commit to that last run, especially when you're still looking for a decent time like that.
And it's another incident for Josh Mitchell, low-speed contact with Jareth Hallam at just over 5 km/h. Josh Mitchell is still yet to post a time as he navigates turn 14, just over a minute 12 seconds remaining in the session.
He's had a rough session with those incidents. You need clean running to get a lap in, and he just hasn't had it yet. It's tough to find rhythm after those knocks.
Nigel Walters improves again, a 1:37.980, moving him up to fourth position with under a minute left. Jamie Price holds on to fifth, his 1:38.036 still standing as we count down the final 40 seconds of practice.
Every tenth counts now. In these closing seconds, you're always pushing, hoping for that perfect lap to slot in, but track conditions can be tricky.
Phil Bodkin gets a time on the board in the dying seconds, a 1:38.881, slotting him into sixth as he's through turn 1.
To pull that out right at the very end shows great focus. You know it's your last chance, and you've just got to hit your marks perfectly.
Sten Wallstrom has gone into the barriers, a significant impact there at nearly 69 km/h. Ryan Lim is still out there, in turn 14, yet to set a time with only 14 seconds left on the clock.
This is it, his very last chance. You've got to find every bit of pace on this lap. There's no room for error now, especially if you haven't put a time down yet.
Jasper Greenwood is another driver yet to set a time, now in turn 1 with less than 30 seconds of practice remaining. A late incident sees Phil Bodkin and Jamie Price making contact at just under 6 km/h. Phil Bodkin's 1:38.881 keeps him in 6th place, currently through turn 8, with 43 seconds left in practice. Jamie Price remains in 6th, his 1:38.036 still the benchmark, as he navigates turn 8 with just 52 seconds left.
He'll be focused on improving, but that time is a decent effort. You're always chasing those last few tenths, and it takes real precision to find them in these dying moments.
Ryan Lim is yet to put a time on the board, currently in turn 8 with just over a minute and 10 seconds remaining. Chris Stokes also yet to set a lap time, currently through turn 9 with a minute and 38 seconds left in practice. The lights are green, and qualifying is officially underway here at Taupo International Motorsport Park.
This track can be tricky at the best of times, and with this 12-knot wind, managing the aero will be a real test for the drivers. I certainly remember that from my time here.
Nigel Walters still hasn't posted a time. He'll need to get a move on with just under 4.5 minutes left on the clock. Phil Botkin is another driver yet to put in a time lap, with just over 4 minutes remaining in qualifying.
They'll be pushing hard on their out lap now, trying to find clear air before the tires are past their peak. It's a fine balance.
Daniel Kochish is through T11 and still needs to set a lap time. The clock is ticking down rapidly with less than 4 minutes to go. Jareth Hallam completes a lap, but it's not a time won yet, still P18 with just over 3 minutes left in the session.
They're probably scrubbing in tires or checking the balance. The real effort will come on the next run. You don't want to waste a quick lap on cold rubber.
Nigel Walters is really cutting it fine now, still no time on the board and less than 3 minutes to go. Nigel Walters finally posts a time, and it's a quick one. A 1:37.649 puts him straight into provisional pole position. Chris Stokes, currently P4, is on a hot lap and showing a negative delta as the clock ticks down to just over a minute left.
Even that 0.0 delta means he's right on the very limit, pushing for every thousandth. This is where the pressure really builds.
Jasper Greenwood, currently P10, is up on his previous best by 0.07 of a second, with just over a minute left to improve.
Even a small delta like that at this stage means he's losing time somewhere. It's incredibly difficult to find clear tenths when you're already on the limit. It takes real precision.
Nigel Walters, now down to P6, is 0.08 up on his best time through T8, looking to reclaim pole in these final seconds.
He's really digging deep here. Through T8 is where you can make up a lot of time if you're brave enough on the throttle, but it's easy to overdo it.
And we have a major incident. Rich Snape has gone into the barriers at 93.53 km/h.
That looked like a big hit. Even a glancing blow at that speed can really upset the car and the driver. It's a very unforgiving wall there.
Nigel Walters, now down to P7, is flying through T12, an impressive 0.36 seconds up on his best with just 14 seconds left.
That's a huge gain at this stage. Coming out of T12 is where you need to be precise for a fast run to the line. He's really found something for this final push.
Chris Stokes, currently P9, is almost half a second up on his best time with just 4 seconds left. This could be a game changer.
Phil Bodkin is flying, over 3/10 quicker than his best and trying to climb from P10 with only 13 seconds remaining. He's really maximizing the last moments.
Huge impact. Mac McFarquhar has gone into the barriers at a staggering 191.57 km/h.
That looked like a monumental hit. At that speed, the car takes a tremendous amount of energy, and you just brace yourself for the force. It's never a pleasant feeling.
Nick Edwards, currently P3, is 1900ths up on his personal best with just 39 seconds left. He's pushing for pole.
To find nearly 2/10 at this point in qualifying, when the tires are probably past their peak, shows real commitment. He's squeezing everything out of the car right now.
Sten Wallstrom has made contact with the barriers at 7.52 km/h. A slow speed impact but still a shunt. Daniel Kocic, currently in P2, is well off his personal best on this lap, over 6 seconds slower with just over a minute left in qualifying.
That kind of delta indicates he's either made a significant mistake or he's deliberately backing off, perhaps preparing for one last push or just cooling the tires down before coming in. You learn quickly when to abandon a lap that isn't working.
Chris Stokes is currently P4, but this lap is well off the pace, over 7 seconds slower than his best with just a minute and a half to go. Welcome to Taupo International Motorsport Park. The lights are on, and we are just moments away from the start of this highly anticipated race.
It's a beautiful day out there. That light wind means the cars will be absolutely glued to the track off the line. As a driver, you live for conditions like these.
Nick Edwards, the Canadian M-Class driver, sits poised in third on the grid in his Mini Cooper JCW Challenge.
He's in a fantastic starting position. For an AM driver, getting a good launch here is crucial. The Minis can really stick at the start.
Right behind Edwards, we have Chris Stokes from England, the Pro-Am driver in his Mini, starting from 4th.
Hallam in P5, another Pro-Am driver. These mini grids are always tight, and starting in the mid-pack like this means you have to be aggressive but smart on the first lap.
And completing the top 6, we have Nigel Walters, the AM-Class driver, starting from 6th position. Just behind them, Mac McFarquhar, the Pro-Class driver, ready to go from 7th on the grid.
He'll be looking to make up ground fast. Starting P7 means he'll be eyeing those top spots from the very first corner. You have to be decisive.
Rounding out our top 8 starters, it's Josh Mitchell, the AM-Class driver, starting in 8th.
Snape in 9th, another AM driver. It's great to see so many AM drivers mixing it up with the pros and Pro-Ams in this field.
Jamie Price, an M-Class driver, completes our top 10 starting grid.
Greenwood in P11. He'll be looking for any early race chaos to gain positions from that mid-pack start.
Phil Bodkin starts from P12, another M-Class driver looking to make a charge.
This part of the grid can be tricky. It's often where you see early jostling and sometimes incidents, so he'll need to be smart on lap 1.
Dominic Fauvargue, the Pro-Am driver, starts from 13th.
He's a Pro-Am in the mix, so he'll have the pace to climb. The challenge will be navigating the traffic ahead.
David Johnston, an M-Class driver, starts from 14th on the grid. Elliot Norton, another Pro-Am, starting from 15th position.
He's got his work cut out for him starting this far back, but Pro-Ams can often surprise us with their ability to slice through the field.
Sten Wallstrom, an M-Class driver, rounds out our grid from 16th position.
Lim in P17, another AM driver. These drivers are here for the experience and to push themselves, but they're still racers, and they'll be looking for opportunities.
Greg Sabo, an M-Class driver, starting from 18th. The lights are out and the races go. Green flag flying here at Taupo.
Tim Weller has held the lead through turn 1, exactly what he wanted to do from pole.
Trouble in the pack. Greg Sabo has made contact with Sten Wallstrom.
Yeah, that was a low-speed hit, around 6.94 kilometers per hour, but enough to send Sabo offline.
Tim Weller has dropped to second. He's lost the lead on this opening lap.
Someone's made an aggressive move into the lead. That's a very early statement of intent in this race.
Weller now running second, a surprising turn of events so early in the race.
He'll be pushing hard to reclaim that spot. As a driver, you hate to lose the lead on the first lap, but there's plenty of race left.
Nick Edwards holds firm in third position as the pack settles down.
He's done well to stay out of the early drama, consolidating his grid spot. That's smart racing, especially for an AM driver.
Huge loss for Rich Snape, he's tumbled 8 positions down to 17th on this opening lap. Contact, Nick Edwards and Tim Weller have come together.
That looked like a bump at around 13.46 kilometers per hour. It's enough to destabilize a car and can cost valuable time.
Elliot Norton has surged up to 11th, now right on the tail of Dominic Fovarg in 10th, just a tenth of a second separating them.
Elliot Norton makes the pass. He's now up to 10th, putting 0.2 seconds on Fovarg, who drops to 11th.
We're now with Greg Sabo, running in 12th on lap 1, just 2 tenths behind Dominic Fovarg in 11th.
That 1:48.344 is his first recorded lap. He'll be looking to settle in now with 9 minutes plus 1 lap remaining in this one.
More contact. Dominic Fovarg has collided with Greg Sabo, a hit at 8.64 kilometers per hour.
We're with David Johnston in P12, right on the bumper of Dominic Fovarg in 11th, a mere tenth of a second separating them. That 1:48.179 was his opening lap.
And we have another incident. Jamie Price and Josh Mitchell have come together.
That was a low-speed impact, around 7.59 kilometers per hour, but it definitely disrupted their rhythm.
Now with Rich Snape in 13th, just 3 tenths back from Greg Sabo in 12th. His first recorded lap was a 1:49.738. More contact. Jareth Hallam and Chris Stokes have made contact, a 7.58 kilometers per hour collision.
Dominic Fovarg in 11th, pushing hard. He's just a tenth behind Elliot Norton in 10th. His first lap was a 1:47.716, a solid start despite the earlier contact. Fovarg has made the move. He's up to 10th now, slipping past Elliot Norton, and they're absolutely glued together with a 0-second gap.
Dominic Fovarg on the charge. He's gained another spot, now into 9th, and he's opened up a 0.4-second gap to Elliot Norton back in 11th. From pole position, Tim Weller is now down in 15th on lap 2, chasing Sten Wallstrom just 3 tenths ahead. That 1:38.175 is his fastest lap so far.
Tim Weller fights back. He's snatched 14th from Sten Wallstrom, and they are neck and neck, 0 gap between them.
Chris Stokes is running in 4th on lap 2, just 2 tenths behind Mac McFarquhar in 3rd. His last lap was a 1:38.695.
He's keeping the pressure on the podium spots. That lap time shows good pace, and he'll be looking to close that small gap to McFarquhar in these next few minutes, with 7 minutes plus 1 lap left.
Chris Stokes remains in 4th, but the gap to McFarquhar has now stretched to 4 tenths of a second.
Jasper Greenwood is pushing hard through T14, running 11th on lap 2. He's 3 tenths off Elliot Norton in 10th. That 1:40.396 is his best lap so far.
Jasper Greenwood has lost a place, dropping to 12th, and the gap to Elliot Norton in 10th has grown to 6 tenths. What an opening to this race. We've seen so much action and so many position changes already, it's been non-stop.
It really has. Those early laps are always crucial. Everyone's pushing, and sometimes that leads to contact, even at low speeds. As a driver, you're trying to find your rhythm while avoiding incidents.
We've certainly seen plenty of that, especially in the mid-pack. Drivers gaining multiple spots, then losing them just as quickly.
Absolutely. It's about finding that balance between aggression and patience. You can make up ground early, but you don't want to throw away your race in the first few minutes.
It's going to be fascinating to see if the front runners can pull away, or if this close racing continues right to the flag.
For sure. Now the cars are getting into their grooves. We should see some more consistent lap times, but the pressure will remain high.
Big impact. Phil Bodkin has gone into the barriers at 63.15 kilometers per hour.
We're now riding with Maximilian Turbin in 18th on lap 3, running just 3/10 behind Rich Snape in 17th. His best lap so far is a 140.636 with 5 minutes plus 1 lap remaining.
Turbin remains in 18th, but the gap to Rich Snape in 17th has now grown to 7/10. Greg Sabo in 12th on lap 4, chasing Josh Mitchell in 11th, just 2/10 off. Szabo's best lap is a 138.204 as we hit 5 minutes remaining. More contact in the midfield. Jasper Greenwood and Josh Mitchell have collided.
Another low-speed incident, 7.07 kilometers per hour. Those small taps can still ruin your momentum and cost positions. Tim Weller has climbed to 13th on lap 4, just 2/10 behind Greg Sabo in 12th. He's posted a new best lap of 137.447, showing he's really pushing now.
Tim Weller has gained a spot, now 12th, but Greg Sabo has moved further ahead into 10th, opening the gap to 4/10. It's been a relentless race so far, hasn't it? So many position changes and incidents, particularly in that mid-pack.
It's the nature of these mini-challenge races. They're so close, and every driver is looking for that inch. Sometimes that leads to contact, but it's pure racing intensity.
And even those low-speed contacts we've seen, what impact do they really have on the cars, or the drivers?
Even a small bump, a few kilometers per hour, can knock the steering out, or cause a slight alignment issue. As a driver, you feel every tiny change, and it affects your confidence in the car's handling.
We've seen some drivers, like Weller, fighting back from way down the order. Others are still struggling to find their rhythm after early trouble.
That's where the mental game comes in. You have to reset, focus on your lines, and trust the car. Some drivers can switch that on, others find it harder to regain their flow.
Dominic Fovarg has climbed to 7th on lap 5, just 4/10 off Jamie Price in 6th. He's just put in his best lap of 137.597. Fovarg remains in 7th, but the gap to Jamie Price in 6th has increased slightly to half a second.
He'll need to dig deep to close that. It's those small margins that can make all the difference when you're chasing.
Greg Sabo is in 10th on lap 5, chasing Jasper Greenwood in 9th, 4/10 ahead. Szabo's best lap remains a 138.204.
He's holding his own in the top 10 now. Consistency is key from here to maintain that position, especially with drivers like Weller trying to come through the pack.
Greg Sabo has made the move on Jasper Greenwood, now up into 9th, and he's opened up a 0.7 second gap.
Jamie Price through T11, in 7th on lap 5, half a second back from Dominic Fovarg in 6th. His best lap is a 137.481, but that last one was a 141.181.
Jamie Price holds 7th, and he's managed to shave a 10th off that gap to Dominic Fovarg in 6th, now 0.4 seconds.
Josh Mitchell is running 13th on lap 5, 1.1 seconds behind Phil Bodkin in 12th. His best lap is a 140.898, but that last one was a 141.117.
Huge changes for Josh Mitchell. He's dropped all the way back to 17th, and the gap to Phil Bodkin, now in 11th, has opened up dramatically to 10.1 seconds. Chris Stokes is running third on lap 6, half a second back from Mac McFarquhar in second. Stokes just posted his best lap of 1:37.216.
That's excellent pace from Stokes. He's really found his rhythm and is pushing hard for that second spot, showing the Pro-Am speed.
Chris Stokes has closed the gap to Mac McFarquhar down to just 0.3. He's right there for second.
Rich Snape through T9, holding 15th on lap 6. He's 0.3 behind Sten Wallstrom in 14th, and he's just set a new best lap of 1:37.984.
Rich Snape has made the pass. He's up to 14th, and he's opened up a 1.1 second lead over Sten Wallstrom now in 15th.
That's a decisive move and a great bit of driving to create that gap so quickly. He's really found some pace.
This race just keeps on delivering. Every lap brings new battles and position changes. It's impossible to look away.
It's what we love about this series. The Mini Cooper JCWs produce such tight racing, and it's testament to the drivers that they're still pushing so hard even after all the incidents.
Absolutely. We've seen drivers like Weller and Fovard really fight their way back through the field after early setbacks.
That takes real grit. As a driver, when you've had a bump or lost a few spots, it's easy to get frustrated. But the good ones just put their head down and focus on reclaiming positions, lap by lap.
With the clock ticking down, every overtake now becomes even more critical. There's not much time left to make a move.
Precisely. This is where the strategy shifts from just holding position to actively looking for opportunities. And mistakes are more costly now.
Major impact for Ryan Lim. He's gone hard into the barriers at 89.84 kilometers per hour.
That's a significant hit. The barriers certainly did their job absorbing that energy, but it's a very fast impact.
Elliot Norton in 8th on lap 7, just 0.2 behind Jamie Price in 7th. Norton's best lap is a 1:37.096, excellent pace.
Elliot Norton continues to stalk Jamie Price. The gap remains at 0.2 in this battle for 7th.
Norton has done it. He's through to 7th place, and he and Jamie Price are absolutely side by side, zero gap.
Incredible driving. That's how close these minis run. Pure wheel-to-wheel racing.
Jamie Price is now in 8th on lap 7, just a 10th behind Elliot Norton in 7th. His best lap still stands at 1:37.481.
Jamie Price holds 8th, but Elliot Norton has managed to pull out a bit of a lead, now half a second up in 7th.
Jareth Hallam is running 5th on lap 8, 1.4 seconds back from Nick Edwards in 4th. Hallam just posted his best lap of 1:37.267.
Hallam is still in 5th, but he's closed the gap to Nick Edwards in 4th to just 1.0 seconds. He's really eating into that lead.
Mac McFarquhar is right on the tail of Daniel Kocic for the lead. Just 0.2 separating them on lap 8.
This is it, the fight for the win. McFarquhar's best lap is a 1:37.165, and he knows he has to find something extra to make this pass stick. It's all about precision now.
Daniel Kocic holds the lead, 20 seconds from the flag, but Mac McFarquhar is right there, just 0.3 back. Trouble in the pack. Nigel Walters and Sten Wallstrom have made contact.
That was a decent hit, 13.27 kilometers per hour. It will certainly affect their next few corners.
Daniel Kocic crosses the line. He wins the race, an incredible performance from the driver who started in second.
What a drive from Kocic. To hold off that pressure and take the flag, absolutely fantastic. That's a well-deserved victory.
Mac McFarquhar takes second place. A superb effort climbing from 7th on the grid.
Chris Stokes rounds out the podium in 3rd. A strong Pro-Am performance to secure a top 3 finish.
And crossing the line, Nick Edwards secures 4th, Jareth Hallam takes 5th, followed by Dominic Fovard in 6th.
And Elliot Norton finishes in 7th. Those drivers were in fierce battles throughout the race, really pushing each other right to the flag.
Jamie Price crosses in 8th, Tim Weller takes 9th, with Jasper Greenwood in 10th and Greg Sabo in 11th. Phil Bodkin finishes 12th, Rich Snape 13th, then Josh Mitchell 14th, and Sten Wallstrom in 15th.
These drivers certainly battled hard all race long, great determination shown by all of them to make it to the flag.
David Johnston crosses the line in 16th, followed by Nigel Walters in 17th.
And Maximilian Turbin rounds out our finishers in 18th. What a race we've witnessed here at Taupo.
And Ryan Lim is the final finisher, coming across the line in 19th position. The lights are on, anticipation builds here at Taupo International Motorsport Park.
This track offers some real challenges, and a clean start is everything when the pressure is this high.
Nigel Walters, the UK driver, is positioned nicely in third on the grid in his Mini Cooper JCW Challenge. Right behind him is David Johnston, also in a Mini JCW Challenge, starting from P4. And Sten Wallstrom lines up in 5th, making it 3 Mini Coopers in a row from P3 to P5. Josh Mitchell, the Italian driver, starts just behind that pack in 6th position. Rich Snape, another UK driver, rounds out the top 7 in his Mini Cooper JCW Challenge. Phil Bodkin of England completes our top 8, all in Mini Cooper JCW challenges.
It's a really tight field in the Mini Challenge, and starting mid-pack means you have to be aggressive but also smart in the opening laps.
Greg Sabo from Italy takes grid position 9, also in a Mini Cooper JCW challenge. Jasper Greenwood, the UK driver, completes our top 10 grid positions. Tim Weller, another UK driver, starts just outside the top 10 from 11th.
From P11, you're looking for any opportunity in those early corners, but also trying to avoid the chaos that can erupt up ahead.
Jamie Price lines up in 12th place, ready for the off.
Every position counts, even back here. Consistency is key.
Elliot Norton, a Pro-Am driver from the UK, is in P13. And Dominic Fauvargue, another UK Pro-Am driver, is alongside him in 14th. Jareth Hallam, also from the UK and a Pro-Am, starts from P15. Nick Edwards, the Canadian driver, is in 16th place on the grid. Chris Stokes from England lines up in P17, a Pro-Am driver.
In the Pro-Am class, you're not just racing your direct rivals, you're also trying to manage the traffic from the faster drivers around you.
Mac McFarquhar, a Pro-Class driver from the UK, starts down in P18.
That's a tough starting spot for a pro, but it means they'll be looking to make up positions quickly in these opening laps.
Daniel Kosic of Hungary is in P19, an M-Class driver.
Every driver has their own race to run out there, whether they're fighting for the lead or just trying to finish strong.
And the lights are out. We are green at Taupo, a fantastic start.
The reaction off a line is crucial, and you can see a lot of drivers trying to gain those first few meters.
Ryan Lim holds onto the lead, maintaining P1 through the opening corners. We have contact. Jareth Hallam and Elliot Norton have come together on track.
You always worry about incidents in the busy first lap, and that's exactly what we've seen there.
Greg Sabo has moved up a spot, now into 8th position on this opening lap.
Every place gained early on can make a big difference, especially in a field this tight.
Trouble for Josh Mitchell. He's made contact with Ryan Lim. David Johnston has made a superb start, up into 2nd place now. More contact. Chris Stokes and Elliot Norton have come together.
This first lap is proving incredibly eventful, so much action already.
What a start for Mac McFarquhar, up 7 positions already to P11.
That's an incredible drive through the field in these opening moments. That's the kind of push a pro driver makes.
Mac McFarquhar continues to impress, holding firm in P11 after that phenomenal climb.
Maintaining those gains is just as important as making them, and that's a very strong opening from Mac.
And Mac McFarquhar is involved in contact. He's made a collision with Nick Edwards.
After such a strong start, that's a real setback for Mac. It's so easy for things to go wrong in the pack.
Nigel Walters is now in P4, but look at Phil Botkin up ahead. He's gained several positions and is just a 10th up the road in 3rd.
That's an impressive jump for Phil, who started much further back. He's really found some pace in these opening moments.
Another incident involving Chris Stokes, this time with Nick Edwards.
This first lap is turning into absolute mayhem, so many collisions already.
We're riding on board with Nick Edwards in P11, navigating through turn 7, with Daniel Kosic just a 10th of a second behind him.
It's still the first lap, and that's a very small margin. Maintaining composure through these high-speed sections is crucial when someone is that close.
Now we're following Daniel Kosic in P13, with Dominic Fogart just 3/10ths back, battling for position.
Every little gap counts. 3/10ths might not seem like much, but it can be enough to break the toe or make a defensive move.
More contact. This time it's Nigel Walters and Greg Sabo coming together.
You simply can't afford these kinds of errors at the front of the pack. That's a real shame for both of them.
Mac McFarquhar is on the charge again. He's up to P7 and right on the tail of Rich Snape, just a 10th behind.
Despite the earlier contact, Mac is showing real determination, closing that gap down instantly. Rich will need to defend hard here.
And we have another incident. Elliot Norton and Josh Mitchell have come together with a significant impact.
Josh Mitchell is now P10, just a couple of tenths behind Tim Weller, really pushing to make up positions after that earlier contact.
Josh Mitchell is still P10, but the gap to Tim Weller in 9th has stretched out to almost a second now. Josh Mitchell has dropped another spot, now P11, and the gap to Tim Weller in 9th has grown to over a second.
That's a tough break. He's losing touch with the car ahead. He'll need to find some clean air to get that momentum back.
Greg Sabo is holding P8 through turn 7, with Tim Weller breathing down his neck, just a 10th behind.
That's incredibly close. Any mistake from Greg here and Tim will be right through. This is where precision really pays off.
Greg Sabo has fallen back 2 places, now in P10, and Tim Weller has surged ahead into P8, opening up a gap of a second and a half.
That's a major swing from being just a 10th apart. It shows how quickly positions can be lost when you're under intense pressure.
More trouble for Greg Sabo. He's had contact with Dominic Fogart. Mac McFarquhar continues his incredible charge, now up to P4 and just 2/10ths behind Phil Botkin for that 3rd spot.
That's an astonishing recovery drive from Mac. He's clearly got pace, and he's now in a prime position to challenge for a podium place.
Unbelievable, Mac McFarquhar has seized 3rd position. And Phil Bodkin has plummeted down to P8, now almost 4 seconds behind.
That's a huge shift in positions in such a short space of time. Mac is absolutely flying, and something clearly went wrong for Phil to drop back like that.
And we have another incident. Jareth Hallam and Maximilian Turbin have made contact. Dominic Fovarg is right on Phil Bodkin's tail in turn 2, battling for P8, with just a tenth between them.
You need to be so precise through that corner, especially with someone that close. Any hesitation and that position is gone.
Dominic Fovarg has dropped a spot to P10, and Phil Bodkin has pulled away significantly, over a second clear in P8.
It looks like Phil managed to break away, leaving Dominic with a bit more work to do to close that gap back down.
Greg Sabo is currently in P15, with Daniel Kosic just 4 tenths behind, putting on the pressure. Greg Sabo has gained a position, now up to P14, but Daniel Kosic, though still in P16, is now just a tenth of a second behind him.
That's an incredibly tight margin given the positions. Daniel has really closed that gap down, putting Greg under immense pressure.
Contact. Daniel Kosic and Greg Sabo have collided. David Johnston is now running in P6, just 2 tenths behind Rich Snape, who holds P5.
This battle for 5th and 6th is really heating up. David will be looking for an opportunity to make a move, perhaps in the braking zone.
David Johnston remains in 6th, but the gap to Rich Snape has opened slightly to 3 tenths of a second. We have a big incident. Sten Wallstrom and Jamie Price have made heavy contact.
You just hate to see that. It's a high-speed section of the track, and any misjudgment there can lead to a serious impact.
Jareth Hallam is P11, now just 3 tenths behind Dominic Fovarg for 10th as we enter lap 4.
Every tenth matters when you're this close. Jareth will be looking for any opportunity to close that gap and make a move.
Jareth Hallam has gained a spot, now into P10. He's still right on Dominic Fovarg's tail, with the gap now at just 2 tenths.
He's really putting the pressure on. Dominic will have to be very defensive here if he wants to hold that position.
Nick Edwards is in P13 through turn 7, trailing Jamie Price by half a second.
That's a manageable gap, but it requires consistent clean driving to close it down over a lap, especially with the wind picking up slightly.
Nick Edwards has dropped to P14, still half a second behind Jamie Price, who's now in P13. Sten Wallstrom is now in P13, just 2 tenths off Jamie Price in 12th as they continue to push hard. And contact once again. Sten Wallstrom and Nick Edwards have collided.
This part of the field is really tight, and any small misjudgment can easily lead to an incident like that.
Nick Edwards is in P14, with Sten Wallstrom 4 tenths up the road in P13 after that recent contact. Nick Edwards has moved up to P13, closing the gap to Sten Wallstrom, who is now in P12, with just 3 tenths separating them.
He's really putting the hammer down now. That's a strong response after the earlier incident, showing he's not letting it get to him. Elliot Norden has made a remarkable recovery, now in P6 and just half a second behind Rich Snape for 5th, clearly showing strong pace out there.
Elliot Norden continues to hold P6, the gap to Rich Snape remains steady at half a second.
He's consistent, but he'll need to find a bit more if he wants to challenge for that top 5 spot.
What a chaotic first half of this race. So many incidents and position changes, it's been non-stop action.
This mini challenge always delivers excitement. When the cars are so evenly matched, drivers push every limit, and sometimes it just goes wrong.
We've seen some incredible recovery drives too, Mac McFarquhar being a prime example.
Absolutely. When you have contact early, the mental game becomes so important. You have to reset and find your rhythm immediately.
It's still anyone's race, especially with these gaps being so tight at the front and through the midfield.
Precisely. One small mistake from anyone up front, and the whole dynamic could shift in an instant. Pressure is building now.
Another incident. Elliot Norden and Rich Snape have come together.
That's a real shame, they were battling so closely for that position.
Sten Wallstrom is in P13, 4 tenths behind Chris Stokes, who holds P12. Sten Wallstrom is still P13, but the gap to Chris Stokes has now grown to almost a second. We're well past the halfway mark now, and the intensity hasn't dropped for a second.
This is where the race really settles in, and you start to see who has the long-run pace, not just the initial burst. Consistency is everything at this point.
The number of incidents we've seen, especially in the mid-pack, really highlights how competitive this field is.
It does. When you're in a pack, you're constantly weighing risk versus reward, and sometimes that tiny misjudgment is all it takes to make contact. I've been there, it's a fine line.
Some drivers have shown incredible resilience to climb back up after early setbacks.
That's the mark of a true racer. You can't let one moment dictate your entire race. You have to keep your head down and push for every single position.
Tim Weller has climbed to P4 and is now chasing Mac McFarquhar for third, currently 1 second separating them.
That's a good chunk of time to make up, but if Tim can string together a few clean laps, he might just put pressure on Mac for that final podium spot.
Tim Weller is still in P4, but he's shaved 3 tenths off that gap to Mac McFarquhar, now just 7 tenths behind.
Daniel Kocic is running in P14, just half a second back from Sten Wallstrom in P13. A small mistake from either could easily change that.
Daniel Kocic has now taken P13. And look at that, Sten Wallstrom is right behind him, absolutely no gap between them. Sten Wallstrom is in P14, 4 tenths behind Daniel Kocic in P13 as they start lap 7. Sten Wallstrom is still P14, but the gap to Daniel Kocic has now grown to 7 tenths.
It looks like Daniel has just managed to break the toe there. Sten will have to work hard to close that down again.
We're really in the closing stages of this race now, and the pressure is palpable out there.
This is where the fatigue can set in, both for the driver and the tires. Every braking point becomes more critical, every apex more vital. I remember pushing so hard in these final laps, it's exhausting.
It's incredible to see how some drivers have managed to string together consistent laps despite all the early incidents.
That's the sign of a top-tier competitor, finding that rhythm and maintaining focus even when things go sideways around you.
Taupo has certainly delivered on the action today, hasn't it?
It absolutely has. This circuit demands precision, and when you combine that with such close racing, you're always going to get fireworks.
Tim Weller is closing right in on Mac McFarquhar for third, the gap now down to just 3 tenths on lap 8. Tim Weller remains in P4, but the gap to Mac McFarquhar has opened slightly again, now 4 tenths.
Jamie Price is now P11, with Jareth Hallam just 4 tenths ahead in 10th position. This is a very close battle for the top 10.
Jamie Price is still P11, but the gap to Jareth Hallam has stretched to 7 tenths. Tim Weller continues to pursue Mac McFarquhar for that podium spot, holding P4, still 4 tenths adrift. Jasper Greenwood is leading this race, just 20 seconds from the checkered flag.
And Nigel Walters is right there, less than a second behind him. This is going to be a nail-biter to the finish line.
Jasper Greenwood takes the checkered flag and wins the race. What an incredible drive from 10th on the grid. Nigel Walters crosses the line in 2nd place, a strong finish for the UK driver. And Mac McFarquhar completes the podium in 3rd. From P18, what a drive.
That is an absolutely sensational result for Mac. To navigate all that chaos and still come away with a podium finish from that starting position is truly remarkable.
Tim Weller secures 4th, Rich Snape 5th, with Elliot Norton 6th and David Johnston finishing 7th. Phil Bodkin crosses the line in 8th, followed by Dominic Fovarg in 9th, Jareth Hallam 10th, and Jamie Price in 11th.
Those mid-pack battles really went down to the wire, so many drivers fighting for every single position right to the end.
Chris Stokes takes P12, with Daniel Kosic in 13th, Sten Wallstrom 14th, and Josh Mitchell 15th.
Every driver gave it their all out there today, and even these positions show how hard they pushed to the very last lap.
Maximilian Turbin finishes 16th, Ryan Lim 17th, and Nick Edwards completes the field in 18th.